you?
Good, thank you, Master.
I read it in the news. It's a little bit more progressive now. So I read yesterday and the day before the head of the Church of England,
Yes, Master. Yes, Master.
Reverend Welby, apologized to some of the victims of the abuse from the Church of England. Yeah, maybe you saw it. Any of you? You saw it, yeah?
Yes, Master.
Good, yes. And then also the head of the Catholic Church in Germany wrote a letter asked the Pope to let him resign.
Yes.
Because he say he's too ashamed. He feels guilty if he keeps being silent or doing nothing, meaning he condones that. And he realized that because of trying to protect the honor of the church, the reputation of the church, he ignored this problem. And he feels like a collective guilt or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, Master.
I think maybe some of you have read that.
Yes.
Yes.
Es geht für mich im Kern darum, auch Mitverantwortung zu übernehmen für das, was in der Kirche geschehen ist. Im Raum der Kirche, die ein Raum der Heilung sein soll, der Hoffnung sein soll, der Zuversicht sein soll. Es geht also darum, das eine zu sehen, das individuelle Versagen einzelner Amtsträger, aber die Fixierung allein auf die Amtsträger ist zu wenig, das ist notwendig und das wird auch kommen, auch in anderen Bistümern, auch bei uns. Aber auch die institutionelle Verantwortung, die Verantwortung für die Institution selber. Ich glaube fest an eine neue Epoche des Christentums. Da ist für mich keine Frage. Aber das wird nur geschehen oder es wird besser geschehen, wenn die Kirche sich erneuert und wenn sie aus dieser Krise auch lernt. Ich bin überzeugt, dass diese Gesellschaft die Stimme des Evangeliums braucht, aber dafür braucht es auch eine Kirche, die sich immer wieder erneuert und versucht.
Actually, our work does bear some fruit. It's not as much as I want, but it does make some waves. It does stir up something, yeah?
Yes.
The Church of England is very big. It's almost equal to the Vatican.
Yes, Master.
The English church is almost different, but the same like the Vatican. They are more independent. They don't actually belong to the Vatican. Since a long time, they separate. They make it their own.
Yes, Master.
They call it in Vietnamese Thanh giáo. I don't know how to say that in English. The Church of England, anyway, they call it.
Yes, Master.
It's not belonging to Catholic or anything. It's just independent by themselves. So two of the big church leaders have apologized. And the cardinal, he wanted to resign because of this shameful. So much abuse.
Yes,
Yeah, only a couple of countries reported. Many other countries did not report. But it doesn't mean it did not happen. Okay?
Yes.
This is evil in the house of the Lord. Truly like that. They're doing something. At least to show that they have some shame, some decency to admit and to do something in their own capacity at least. But it's too little, too late. He even said that the church has reached a dead end even. Believe that? As the German people, they don't beat around the bush. When they say something, they mean it. So the Catholic Church has the collective responsibility and guilt. And then the church has reached a dead end. That's what he wrote to the Pope. I wonder how it comes out into the public. Maybe he put it in social media or something also. Not just send it to the Pope alone, but maybe somehow it's leaked out. His name is Cardinal Reinhardt, and the head of the Church of England, Mr. Archbishop Welby, he apologized to abuse victims. Oh my, what's the use of just apologizing? They kept nourishing it all this time, ignoring it and condoning it silently, or by being silent, it's almost like you accept it. Just because if they have less cardinals or less priests, that means they have less power. So they cling on to all this and to protect the church's reputation. And they ignore the suffering of the little children who are so helpless and so frightened in that kind of situation. again and again. It's not just one time, 2 times. And it doesn't matter how many times. It's disgusting. Yeah.
Yes, Master.
It's evil. It's evil. They're only little children, some as young as 13 or something even. My God, how evil can it be? All these decades. And the church still continues to exist and continues to fester this kind of evil within the house of the Lord. It's unacceptable.
Yes, Master. Yes, Master.
They abuse children because the children are easier to fall victim, like predators. They're molesting the weak, the meek, defenseless, and innocent. If children come home and maybe tell something, or parents might not even believe it and scold the kids or keep quiet, or they threaten the kids to keep quiet or else. And then even abuse the orphanage boys. Oh, how ugly can it be? My God. We call this the Church of God and the Church of Christianity, the Church of Catholics, whatever, all these holy names. What kind of degraded to the bottom of the bottom.
Yeah.
This is terrible, and they continue to exist and thrive and prosper and make business and all kinds of advantages and privilege and honor and all that. What a shame. And meanwhile, the honest street girls are being harassed, being oppressed, being called names, being looked down upon.
Yes, Master.
Because some girls, they don't know what to do. Maybe their house is poor and they just have to sell the only assets they have. I don't mean that I condone that. I don't mean that's a good thing to do. But what's the difference between them and these evildoers within the house of the Lord? Why condemn these honest so-called sex workers? They do it. They have to earn a living, and some people need them.
Yes, Master.
But the priests in the church, they don't need to do that.
No way.
And the children, they don't need them to do that.
No, definitely not.
Do you see?
Yes, Master. Yes,
So in that way, the street workers, the street girls, they are even more honorable, in my opinion. In my humble opinion.
Yes, Master.
What for do you try to protect the reputation of the empty church when it doesn't serve the purpose? The church is for the people, not the people for the church.
Yes, Master.
Yes.
The church is to protect people, morals, virtues, and faith. Moral and virtues to live in the society, to harmonize with all beings. And faith is to remember and worship God. The church doesn't serve any of that. If they continue doing this kind of evil deed and harming the little innocent children, helpless, defenseless children, do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, Master.
So what for does the church exist if they don't function the way they should function? Just repeating the Bible and singing psalms or whatever every day like that, what's the use of that? Huh?
Yes.
When a cup is dirty, how would you like to pour elixir into it? Or beautiful drink into that? And how will you drink it? It's still filthy, no?
Yes.
Yes.
It's tainted.
I respect these two church leaders very much. The Reverend Head of the Church of England and the Reverend Head of the German Catholic Church. I respect them very much. At least they're decent enough to apologize. But that's not enough for me. That's not enough to make up for all the dramatic and hurtful and painful feelings of all these thousands or tens of thousands of children and more that are not discovered. Not making up for it ever, never.
Yes, Master.
And too little, too late also. But at least they did something for their conscience, for themselves. At least not condoning the continuing evil practice, at least not to try to cover up. If a cancer is already oozing out of the body, no matter what kind of beautiful clothes you cover it with, it's still a cancer inside.
Yes.
Yes, Master.
It's not just within the body, it's already oozed out onto the skin already. And the smell is so, what shall I say? So foul, huh?
Yes.
Yes,
Master.
Master.
So repugnant already. And still try to cover with brocade, beautiful silk and satin and chiffon and whatever most expensive dress you can wear. What's the use of that, huh?
No.
Yes,
No, Master.
Yeah. Any ordinary person, even with very little wit and minimal intelligence, still can understand that it is not acceptable, it's not pardonable.
That's right.
Yeah. It's not to condone and to continue at the cost of other little children in the past, present, and in the future. I'm so angry. I told you I'm an angry master. Yeah. When it comes to the animals and the children, because they're the most helpless, most vulnerable.
Yes,
yes,
Master.
Master.